Welcome this morning on this bright, warm, no, not warm, summer day. I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad that you can share this time with us. Can we wait for just a second? Hey, it's mine, so if yours ever acts up, don't feel bad, because it happens to all of us. Nope, apparently not. We were actually wondering about that too, so thank you for clearing it up. One day, he'll be graduating, and on that day, I don't know what I'm going to be like, but that's okay. C.S. Lewis said, "There is but one good, and that is God. Everything else is good when it looks to him, and bad when it turns from him." There are points in life, and we'll reach these points several different times in our lives, where we have to make a decision about the direction that our lives are going to go. It doesn't matter if you're young or if you're old. Chances are you still have some of these points in front of you. Some of them are very, very obvious. Graduating from high school, going off to college, you have to make a decision about where you're going to go and what you're going to study, and if you're going to go, and are you going to work first or put it off? You reach these points after college, or when you're looking for your first job, your first real job, getting out of school. My first real adult job started pulling parts in a warehouse. Then I eventually moved up into marketing, but before that, kind of rough. You have to make a decision about where you're going to live, where you're going to move. Are you going to be close to your family or pretty far away? Are you going to try and strike out on your own and make it on your own, or are you going to go with some people, with roommates? How are you going to work all these things out? We see these same kind of decision points when we're deciding whether or not we're going to get married, and who and when and how, and are we going to have children, and if so, how many, and how are we going to raise them? We see this when we get that job offer, and we ask ourselves, are we going to move there? Are we going to leave our family and friends and everything that we knew behind and strike off on this new crazy thing? Or do we want to play it safe and stay close? It doesn't have to be one of these I've mentioned. We hit these things several times. But the decision must be made. And choosing to make no decision is making a decision in itself. But what we base those decisions on is what will determine the direction, the way that we will go. What we choose to base all of these things on, all these decision points on, will be the defining factor on where we are going to go. We may base these choices on love of family, how much we like our friends, how much we like the church, or if where we're going has a church we can be a part of. We may make these decisions based on finances, based on opportunity. We may also end up basing these decisions, if we're not careful, on things like fear. We may base these decisions based on really nothing at all and just kind of going out and winging it. But in the end, there is and can be only one thing that we base our decisions on, all of our decisions. And that is the will of God in our lives. Because it doesn't matter how many other things we calculate into these decisions, if we don't factor in God's will and follow that, then it doesn't matter how many calculations we've done before. In Hebrews chapter 11, starting in verse 13, I've read it before, but it's worth reading again. These all died in faith, speaking about the patriarchs, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they had come out, they would have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. So regardless of where you are in life, regardless of where you're going in life, the truth is that this world is not your home. And this world is not my home. And thank God that, and I mean that, thank God that it is not our home. And thank him and praise his name that we are headed for something much better, much greater, much higher. Because we are truly headed home. We've been here about 7 months. 7-ish months. Coming up on 8. Pretty excited. Time flies. We're still working on it being home. You know what it's like when, especially for the ones of you going off to college, you'll start saying, I'm going home. And when you get that first job, if you move to another city, I'm going home. But there comes a point where the parents' house is no longer home. I don't call my parents' house home anymore. It's weird. But really, even my home here, even my home here with my family here isn't truly my home. Because my home does not exist on this planet. And as Christians, as those who follow Christ, regardless of where you are going, where you're headed, the decisions that are coming up before you, I want to encourage you to remember to always aim for your true home, no matter what it takes. Because sometimes it'll take a lot. Because this world will do all that it can to make it look like your true home. And this world will do all it can to make itself your true home. But there is a warning here. And that warning is that if we make this our true home, we are not going to make it to our real home. Because if we aim for this to be our home, this to be the place where we're comfortable, this to be the place where we're aiming for, this to be everything that we need, then we have some serious reflecting to do. And we need to turn around and get back on the road home. Our entertainment, our friends, our school, your major, our work, our money, everything. It's just a small, tiny piece. It's just what gets us through here. But it tries to make itself into something much grander, something much bigger. Let us remember that we are all strangers and aliens here. Simon has a green card. But in reality, it doesn't matter if you were born here, if you have a green card. We are all strangers and aliens. We are pilgrims in a foreign land. And we need to aim for home. So as you go into the summer to enjoy it, as you go off to school for new adventures in a different place, as you go to work this week, as you spend time with your family, as you do the things that you like and love, remember, this is not home. As great things happen to you, as the world crashes down around you, when everything goes wrong, when everything goes bad, when nothing might as well exist, remember that this is not your home. Paul said that he had learned to be content in wealth and poorness and comfort and strife and everything. He had learned to be content. I'm convinced he learned to be content because he realized that this world was not his home, that he was just passing through. And everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that comes against us, let us remember to aim for home, our true home. Let's start right now while we stand and sing.